Hello everyone and welcome back to my Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze 90% guide. Today we'll be doing 2-6 Wing Ding, and you want to make sure that you're starting this stage off with Dixie. There's a trick that requires a very precise intro to this stage in order to make. So this is basically the first time in the run where we're seeing barrel cycles coming into play in terms of the level's routing. You really have no time to waste at the beginning of this stage. You want to be going as quick as possible, and you want to spend as little time doing anything unnecessary. So, that intro, I have confidence that I managed to reach the barrel cycle with that intro, and I'm going to go ahead and explain why barrel cycles are so important in this stage. This stage is a relatively lax level, nothing huge going on. However, all the Kongs, whenever there's a barrel that switches between Dixie, Diddy, and Cranky, the barrels switch every second. So for 1 second you'll see each Kong, and then it'll move on to the next one. Because we're switching to Cranky Kong, it's going to be very important that we try and get there without Cranky Kong being off cycle. So we want Cranky Kong to be the one that we see there. That way we waste as little time as possible having to stop to pick him up. Ideally, we can just get there and he'll be there. And I got him. It was a little close. It was a little close. It almost turned to Diddy. Now, the reason why it's so tight is because this stage, generally, like what used to happen in the route was we used to not take the intro as hard as we possibly could. But a couple of our runners found that if you were as precise as possible with your jumps and made as little unnecessary movements, you could actually reach an earlier cycle with Cranky Kong instead of having to wait around. So because of that, there's this tension that you have now trying to make an earlier cycle with Cranky. This stage is otherwise pretty easy. There's very little you can do to speed it up. So for the most part, it's about 2 seconds that you'll be sacrificing if you miss this trick. It's more important to make sure you get Cranky. So if you have any doubt that you're going to be getting there late, just make sure that you wait a second for Cranky to come back around. It's no big deal. So let's go ahead and switch it back to Dixie, just so that we can explain what you need to be doing with her. Go. She seems excited. So, very important at the start of the stage, you want to be mashing out of the cutscene as quickly as possible, and then you're going to just, as usual, take off with a roll. You're going to be rolling until you get to this first gap right here, and then you're going to do a full jump over it. Keep rolling, and this is the tricky part. You're going to want to roll and jump just lightly enough that you land on top of that first tuck right there. So you're going to roll right through this, and then you're going to do a bounce off of him and jump up here. With the flutter, it is barely possible to get up here, and you'll notice that this platform drops as soon as you get up here. So as soon as you land, you're going to jump again, and ideally you want to land in such a way that, like, normally when you flutter up here, you're going to be facing left. So you want to quickly jump and turn around, and then you want to roll off and jump immediately. This is all incredibly, it's all very precise, because you need to be doing this in such a way that you're losing as little time as possible. So you're going to flutter up here, turn around with this jump, roll jump up here, and then you want to make sure that you just pull back enough that your roll will trigger these bells. These bells will allow you to access the rest of the stage, and there are bells that are throughout the rest of the stage that you need to keep hitting. So to activate these bells, you just need to slap, but that's slow. You need to make sure that you land up here and then roll. Now, these vines up here that are in the air, you just grab them like you would any other vine. These are zipline vines, and there's actually a stage in the first world where these vines exist, but this is the first time you'll be seeing them in the run. So whenever you see the vines with bells, you want to ring them by pressing your roll button or slam button again. And you don't want to be jumping at all. Jumping will actually slow you down just a little bit, so any unnecessary jumping will slow you down. there are a couple times when it's possible to just let yourself fall onto the next set of vines. Please go through the stage enough that you'll recognize when you do and don't have to jump. I've lost a lot of time on runs by accidentally not jumping when I should have. As you get to this section, you're gonna be rolling straight past chops. And what I like to do, this is my route through this section. The runners all have different routes through this section. What I like to do is I like to do a roll jump and bounce off of the first one, and I like to do a nice reactive bounce so that I clear him. And then this section, all these platforms will start to fall immediately. So as soon as you do the bounce, you want to make sure you're not bouncing too hard that you'll crash into the tough tucks with the helmet on. And you land on this lower platform here, and then you just roll straight off. You're going to be in the air for a second, and then you're just going to jump up to here. And this way you don't lose any speed at all. You're going to be rolling the entire time nonstop. Now, when you land on here, what I like to do is I like to land on either the fish or the Archie himself. The Archie is the fish arrow tuck. I like to land on either one of them, and then I'm on the next set of vines. I can drop right there. You have to jump here, spin this one. Those gray bells you absolutely have to hit. You can drop right there again, jump over here. And this O loses you no time, so it's very important to get. It's mandatory for runs. And you're just rolling to the next section. Now on this last section right here, this is the last tricky section that will help you get that early cranky. You just want to ride to the bottom, and then you want to jump onto this first platform here. And it's a little difficult. What you're trying to do is you're trying to make sure you don't ever have to flutter. Any fluttering right now to save yourself will cost you the cranky cycle. So I'm gonna roll. You want to make sure that you roll off the first two platforms and avoid both of these flying penguins. You're going to land right after this tuck underneath me gets out of the way. You're going to land right after him, and then you're going to roll into the pit and jump out at the last second. So roll again, and then you're going to land. You're going to skip that first platform behind the spiky ceiling. You're going to land on this platform right after the spiky ceiling, and then this is the last jump you'll have to make to grab Cranky. So you'll land right here, roll again into the pit. Oh hey, there's Cranky on cycle. I spent so much time in this stage, it's kind of shocking. So when you're grabbing this Cranky, it's very tight. But basically, as you're rolling into the pit the second time to jump up here, you need to make sure that you grab Cranky on the way down. So just make sure that you're tapping the grab button, and then you can roll from here. And you can do a pogo up onto that vine section, so you don't have to jump again. You can just pogo again. Break the bells, more bells, breaking these poor owl statues. And now there's no more stress of having to reach a certain cycle. You can play around a little bit. Again, if you want to save frames at this point, avoid unnecessary jumping. But you can actually avoid triggering the vines from falling by jumping at the moment you hit them. And then right here, as you're swinging on this vine, you can actually get a little bit of the momentum from the vine swinging. Just make sure you roll and jump as soon as you break through the glass. Let go, roll, jump. And now this last tower climb. Down here at the bottom, this whole place is going to start breaking as soon as you get in here. So just be careful, make sure you follow the route that I'm doing. The first thing I like to do is I like to jump as soon as I get on the bottom, and then I'll bounce off of the first platform to the left onto the tuck on the left that you can see right now toward where the token is. So jump, pogo, pogo, and then from here I like to do just regular jumps because pogoing will give you unnecessary height, and you can make all these jumps without pogo. So jump, jump. So you're jumping towards the middle, then back toward the left. You're going to make sure that fish passes over you, don't run into it. And then you're going to jump from where the platform where the fish is over right now to the middle, all the way to the right. Jump, jump, jump. And I actually tried to pogo off of the platform itself. Luckily, that fish caught me. And then from this middle platform that I'm on right now, you can bounce off of the hoots. There's a bouncy net sort of thing. You can bounce off of the hoots onto the middle, and then this one, and then you want to make sure you grab that rope for just a split second. So just hold your grab button as you jump into the rope. You'll grab it, then let go immediately, and that drops the gold barrel out. And that's wingding. Now, one of those jumps I did at the very last section, I realized it was an extra jump. You don't have to do it. You could. I'll make sure I go back over. Oh, I'm gonna go back in time attack to do this. The one with the fish that I pointed out where that was the platform. You don't have to jump up there. You could jump to the middle. Anyway, time attack. And now we will get to enjoy the lovely music that this stage has to offer. This is one of my favorite tracks in the game. And for a long time, I didn't know there was actually a remix of another song, because it sounds like its own original track. Who do I want to default? Well, when you're doing time attack, you want to default it to Cranky. You're not going to be using the other Kongs, because you're starting without any Kongs. So the only Kong barrel that you're going to grab is the one in the middle of the stage. I'm going to start with a light roll jump, and then a full roll jump. Take damage, it's okay. So there's a Kong barrel at the bottom, but it's actually slower to grab that one. Now, what I'm doing with these vines where I'm jumping early on them, this is actually a technique that one of our runners found where if you hit the beginning of the vine, it actually triggers, ooh, kind of scary there. Aw, darn. Anyway, I'll go back and explain what these vines do. So, one of the ways that it's possible to reach the cranky cycle is because these vines actually, they try and jerk you forward as you get onto them. It basically corrects Donkey's current position to put him on the vine. So you want to hit the earliest part of the vine, and it'll bring you forward just a little bit. This jerking forward motion will actually speed you up bit by bit throughout the stage. So you could do it on all the vines, not just the ones that are easy to jump to, but the ones where you would have to normally drop down to. Those are the spooky vines. And if you want to go for those, if you want to be daring enough, go right ahead. But it's unnecessary to get the cranky cycle. As you can see, going with a solo Kong makes roll jumping a lot harder throughout the stage. So it's very important to have buddy Kongs whenever you can. Even if there's no O there, I would still like to jump there. Now, having a buddy Kong is also important for this section because of the way we're trying not to have to roll jump unnecessarily. But again, even if you miss Cranky, you can still get a very strong time on this stage. It's no worries, no big deals. You'll be fine. So credit where credit's due. It is Cruncha, the man who did a lot of time attacks and IL strats. By the way, this is the jump that I was talking about. Right here, you can just jump straight to the middle. Emergency. Okay. Cruncha used to run this game quite a lot, and he did a lot of the level routing for us. Still shiny gold. What do you know? Cruncha was the first one who looked into early cycles on this stage. And then it was Oi Disco and Fant who did more work on this stage to make sure that we could grab that early cranky. So a bit sloppy on the time attack there, but the first time I went through was fine. And just remember where you need to be going as quickly as possible, and otherwise relax and have fun through the stage. And I hope this guide helped. Next time we'll be doing 2 boss, Mountaintop Tussle. We'll be fighting Scowl, one of my, he's actually my favorite boss in this game, because he has just the right mix of speedrun tactics and difficulty to make him really shine against the other bosses. Thank you for watching.